It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi everyone, welcome back, and I am no longer an avatar. Guys, thank you to everyone who, from Monday to Tuesday, sat there and dealt with my avatar while I babied my lip because I thought I was the Little Mermaid in the pool, and I scraped it on the pool. But you know what? At the end of the day, we all make mistakes, okay? I'm going to leave that right there. But we're back to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City premiere for season 4. And we have an amazing guest we've been trying to get together for so long now. So it's so fun to have her on. I reference a lot of her content. She, on Instagram, you know her as Bravo and Blaze. But I also just wanted to say we know her as Jenny. And we had a great time at BravoCon last year. And I cannot wait to get into some shenanigans, no pun intended, this year at BravoCon with Jenny. But with that, smash that like button, drop a rating for the premiere episode, and let us know where you're watching from. Let's welcome Jenny. Hello.
Hi, Adam. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited.
It's so good to see you.
It's great to see you. It's been almost a year.
I know, it's crazy, but I'm so happy that BravoCon is coming soon, and we'll get to see each other again soon.
You know what? We're going to have so much fun. And by the way, I'm not going to say what it is, but thank you for the invite for the other thing. And it's just going to be, last year I felt like I couldn't keep up. It was such a whirlwind, but we kept everybody was bumping into each other. We were all at I was like, Ryan Bailey's at DirecTV. You're running around over here. I didn't even know what was going on.
It was a lot.
But it's just fun. It's like content overload.
It is. It's like such an immersive experience. You're in it. You're living Housewives and Vanderpump and Below Deck. It's a wild experience. I love it.
Oh, well, we're definitely going to see our Salt Lake City women this year. I wonder if we're going to see Mary Cosby, by the way.
I was just thinking about that in the shower this morning because I was like, wait, last year they shot the reunion already. Jen Shaw didn't show up, right? I think.
No, she showed up to the after party, remember?
Yeah, she showed up to the after party where we were, and then she went to jail shortly after that. Is that how it went down? Or no, she still had court.
She still had court.
Yeah, she wasn't fully guilty yet, I think, at that point. It was a wild time, but I was sobbing to Chanel IN, right, at that party we were at. Because I was just like, oh my God, I love you. And thank God, by the grace of God, Jen Shaw walked in and her and Chanel IN, they just started dancing. And I was like, thank God, because that was the most mortifying experience of my life, crying to Chanel IN. But then I was like, oh my gosh, Jen Shaw is here. And then last night, it was Taylor Armstrong on Watch What Happens Live who said that Jen Shaw was in her room and never had met her. She was getting glam done. I remember that night because Heather Gay kicked Jen Shaw out of her room. Jen was supposed to sleep in Heather's room, but after Jen crashed the party, saw Andy, I saw them talking. There was words exchanged or whatever. And I don't know, it didn't seem like it was that heated, but Heather locked Jen Shaw out of the room. So Jen Shaw wound up sleeping on a bunk bed somewhere that night.
I mean, and you know what was so funny is I don't know why I thought it was a good idea in my way of introducing myself to Andy that same night. And I was like, hi, it's so nice to meet you. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, I said, I was the one who did the Jen Shaw interview. And he's like, I know who you are. And I was like, no, that is not what that's not what I wanted. But you know what I mean? You live and you learn, right? You figure it out and you make mistakes and then whatever. I don't want to call anything a mistake. It is what it is. You kind of just go on, you do things and you figure it out as you go. Nobody wrote a book. We were just talking about this. Nobody wrote the hand guide as to what we do on here. You know?
We are paving the path. We are trailblazers.
Trailblazers. Yes. Wow. Jenny, I'm going to keep you around. Okay. So, and also I was thinking too, I'm like, if we see Mary Cosby at BravoCon, is there any I hope you don't dislike me for doing the interview with your parents, or maybe you
Oh
do.
my gosh, I love that interview
I
that
thought it
you
was
did.
good.
I thought it was great, and I think it actually made me look at Mary Cosby differently, in a way where like, because I've been like this with her before the show even started. I googled her because I was like, oh my gosh, a woman pastor, like yes, sign me up. I was so ready to root for her. I googled her and I like shut my laptop immediately, because if you google her you see some very horrific things, and I was like, oh my gosh, no. I was frightened of her for the whole first season, and I was just like, nobody knows, why doesn't anyone know? Then when things started to come out, I was like, I knew it, people are gonna find out about this. But then when I like, as I saw her in season 2, I actually started to feel like I understood her a little bit more. Like, I think she was raised in a very dysfunctional environment.
Yeah.
And there's a line where, like, I mean, she's an adult, so she's responsible and should be accountable for all of her actions. But I can't help but think, like, she was raised in this very toxic, dysfunctional environment that has led her down this path where we're like, hold on, you married your step grandfather and you don't know if your son is married or not. Like, what is happening? It's very unhinged, and I don't know, like, her personality though has kind of won me over, and I'm rooting for her now, and
You
I'm
know,
happy that she's back.
yeah, I was very happy to see her back too. And it was wild because when I saw her mom, I'm such a Cancer, and like I cry over everything.
Me
And
too.
I got there, I had the videographer there. We were there on time and we were pushed back, I think, about 3 hours. And she was not coming out of the room until she was ready. And then finally she came out, and she came out in these big sunglasses because she had been crying. And then she hugged
Oh,
me and she was like, she started crying. And I'm like, oh, we can't start now. Like, then I had to get it together. Then I had a water. She had a tissue. And I'm like, so then I think we took another 30 minutes because she was just like, Adam, have you talked to my Mary? And I
oh
was like,
my
no, I
gosh.
haven't talked to her. And she's like, she is so beautiful and I love her so much. And do you think that she'll talk to me after this? And I'm like, this just
I
breaks my
hope
heart.
so.
And
Yeah.
I called Jason and I was like, I don't think I'm built for this. I don't think I should be here right now. And he's like, no, you went there for a job. Go do the job. And I was like, oh, so,
I think you did a great job. And hearing that part is even, it kind of affirms my thoughts after watching your interview, because I always thought it was kind of odd that she was so estranged from her mother. And like, I'm a mother. I can't imagine, like, playing out the facts that we know about Mary Cosby and her life, like playing that out in putting myself in the shoes of Mary's mother. I can't fathom all the emotions she probably just released when she met you. Like, that must have been very intense.
yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So we have Mary Cosby back. Let's snap back into it. Okay.
Yes.
This, by the way, this, after the Jin Shah of it all, I have theories and I want to throw them off of you, like
All
bounce
right,
them.
let's do it.
I feel like bringing Monica in, I think that in these, as per my conversations with Jen leading up to that interview, I feel like Bravo obviously was not happy with her because that interview was not intended for me. That interview was intended for Andy, and she was their talent under contract, right? And then after that interview, they wanted her at the reunion. Well, at the reunion, she wasn't going to do that because I think that she had certain requests, and they were like, no. And then Andy was like, let's do a one-on-one. And because they didn't give her necessarily what she wanted, and this is not for fact, this is what I'm assuming or thinking. I think that this was their ultimate, like, clap back, F you. Okay, let me remind you who the boss is in this situation. So then Monica Garcia, who comes in and she's like, hi, I was one of the witnesses for Jen's trial. And also, yeah, I called my friend who's a part of the Secret Service. And I'm like, no, they did not. But That's Bravo. And them reminding you, we gave you a platform, we put you up here, and we can rip you right back down.
That's scary.
That's how the game works.
I know, it's scary though.
It is scary. I mean, it is scary, but you're also going up against like a huge media conglomerate.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. All right. So we're going to get into it. I'm sorry. It was a lot. It was a lot to sort of digest in all of it. But we start with, obviously, they're talking about the fact that Jen Shah is in prison. And now we have the cast that we do now. But the audience is tired of the ongoing feuds with Whitney versus Heather and Lisa versus Meredith. And I didn't really feel like we had a whole lot of that in this episode. I feel like Whitney and Heather, had we not have seen them on Ultimate Girls Trip, I would be like, are we still doing this? But now seeing them, I'm like, oh no, this makes sense. Like, I don't know if you guys will ever get to a place where you trust each other again. And I think that you both know that you're playing a game, and that game is reality TV. So do I ever think that they'll have an authentic, real relationship again? Not really, but I wanted to pick your brain on that.
Well, I am not shy about my feelings for Heather Gay. I think that I probably don't talk about this enough because I try not to like speak negatively too much unless it's like Tom Sandoval. But Heather Gay is probably like one of the housewives in all of the housewife world universe that just really irks me because I feel like she is a fraud. I feel like she's inconsistent.
Wow.
I feel like she's two-faced. And I don't even understand how she has fans based on just from what we've seen. But also, I did an interview with Murillo Bueno, who used to be Jen Shah's assistant. Mm-hmm. This was like last year. And remember that he actually was friends with Jen Shah and Heather together. They were like a little crew that used to hang out before the show even started. And so he gave a lot of insight into their dynamics and what had happened, because if you see on the show throughout, I think like the first and second season, the first season they showed Murillo. You'll see him on the show. Second season, I think they started to they would not show him. And Heather even said you can't, I think she told production, he's not allowed around me. Meanwhile, he used to be her employee and work in her home and take care of her daughters, and she would flip-flop. She's a very convenient friend. I feel like when it's convenient for her, she'll be friends with you, but when she doesn't want that person to have the limelight because they might know some of the truths about her, she's okay with shunning them. And I think that goes back to the this Mormon culture. I'm not trying to knock on the Mormon culture, but think about where Heather came from. She grew up Mormon, and that she even admitted, she said she was very judgmental. She would stick her nose up at people. And if you think about Heather's evolution or whatever, her journey, she said the only reason that she is not in the Mormon community is because her husband divorced her. It wasn't by her choice. And so now I feel like she's lost that part, but the status of it all and who I am in this group is still inherent in Heather. And I feel like she's okay using Jen Shah when it's convenient for her. She's okay with using Whitney when it's convenient for her. And anyone, whoever's next. I don't know who's next in line. We'll see for this season.
Wow. Well, also, I heard from a cast member, and this was last year, I heard that Heather gets this, the cast doesn't understand, and I don't know Heather, I haven't met Heather, so I'm basing anything that I am saying off of what somebody has told me. Same. And there's always multiple sides of the story, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But for Heather, I heard that the cast did not understand why she's getting such a good edit. She's so fun. She's a fan favorite, when this person was claiming that she's a nightmare when it comes to production. And I'm like, what? Like if I'm watching the show, I would never think that Heather Gay was a producer's nightmare. I would think that she would be like a producer's darling, you know?
Well, Murillo gave me insight into, behind the scenes Heather Gay, and that really, I mean, I take it with a grain of salt. I'm not like besties with Murillo. I don't know him that much better than anyone else. So
Yeah.
take everything with a grain of salt. But some of the things he was saying, it's just, there's certain things that may or may not be truths, but some of the things that he was saying, it just felt very on brand with what I'm witnessing.
Right.
And how she will say, like, she likes to drop things very intentionally, but acts like it's not, like the Special K thing. Heather knew exactly what she was doing in the premiere by saying, oh, Special K is legal now, when nobody said Special K. And that just, that ignited this little tiff between Meredith and whoever she was fighting with. I don't even remember.
Oh, okay. We're going to switch this. We're going to switch this up for a second because I want to get over to Lisa Barlow. Now, we have Lisa Barlow, who she's getting ready for the Sundance preparations. And, she starts questioning herself as a mother because her son is now deciding that he wants to go and give 2 years of his life to the Mormon church and go on a mission instead of going to college. She said that she was completely shocked by this. She said she feels like she failed him. She's always kind of, promoted God and faith, everything in their home. So why is this something that you're keeping from me? And if this is something that you're able to keep from me, what else are you keeping from me? And I wanted to hear what your input on that was.
Oh my gosh, I will cry right now just thinking about this. I mean, I watched the episode last night when it aired, and then I started watching it again this morning, and I started to cry and tear up when Lisa was talking about that part, because as a mother, I can't imagine, like, there's just so many emotions. It was like, you feel guilt no matter what when you're a mother, whether you're doing something right or wrong. But there's always that mom guilt. But then it was like, I also felt this sense of like pride where I'm like, Lisa, you should not feel guilty. Like, you raised him to be this amazing man who's going to help others. Like, that is amazing. But I still understand that part of like feeling guilt and being like, do I even know my child? And, there's obviously like a disconnect if she didn't know this was going on for a year or whatever, but I don't think that there's anything like wrong or bad about it as a parent. And I'm a Barlow stan, so Bravo, Blaze, and Barlow's for me.
The 3 Bs. Let's put that on some merch. So, what's funny is Jason was raised Mormon. And I was asking him yesterday, he said, listen, when you go on a mission, what happens is you don't know where you're going. They pick it for you. And you have 8 weeks of prep where you kind of cram in learning as much of the language as possible, trying to figure out like what the map is of where you're going, all of the things. You have 8 weeks to really get ready for this. And then you spend 2 years of your life and you're going out there and you are trying to spread, well, the faith, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought in this moment too, I was like, maybe he thought that you might be disappointed in him because last season you were preaching college, and a business. Yes. And what is it called? Something Wolf? Fresh Wolf. Yeah. Yes. And I'm not being disrespectful. I mean, it's really like Fresh Wolf.
Fine. I had to think about it for a second too.
I think that she was like, wait, we have all of these things going and we've been putting a lot of money into this. And we thought that this is something that you wanted. Yeah. And so I could see where she's battling with that a little bit. But what I didn't understand was this battle. The bathtub, the battle of the bathtub. We have to talk about this for a second because Heather ends up sharing with Meredith that she ended up meeting up with Whitney and they had a conversation. And Whitney's like, well, it's going to take some time, Heather, to figure out if we can be friends again. And okay, so that's where we're at. We get that. But she's like, I'm not happy with her because she said in the press something about me and my bathtubs with my husband and that she prefers to take her baths alone. Well, Heather at first is kind of laughing this off, thinking, oh, okay, like she's joking, right? Like we're laughing at, oh, she's not joking. She's actually pissed about her bathtub. And Meredith was like, I don't talk about your cesspool of a hot tub where you have 85 different people coming in and out and not getting it clean. My stuff is clean. This kind of reminds me of the Roni cheese board. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, what are we arguing about? But this is, it's like for us as Bravo fans, I think that sometimes we're like the Lisa Rinna and the Kathy Hilton, it got so dark and everybody was like, oh, this is heavy. Yeah. But then it's like, we need something that's more light and fluffy. Then we get the bathtub. And then I saw where some comments last night were like, really, ladies, are we arguing over a bathtub? And I'm like, guys, you have to pick your poison. We can't.
I love it.
What do we?
I love this poison.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, this is cotton candy, and I'm good with it.
Oh my gosh. I thought Meredith was joking at first too. I was the same as Heather, like, oh my God, this is funny. But then she was like, no, she got mad about the bathtub. Like, how dare you talk about my bathtub? Don't talk about my marriage. Don't talk about my bathtub. And then she even goes as far as saying, she might as well have thrown in talking bad about my kids, as if the bathtub, her marriage, and kids are all on the same level. I just was dying. I never was a fan of Meredith in season 1 through 3, but last night I gave her my MVP of the episode. I thought like this whole bathtub thing is giving me life. I love it.
See, I've always really liked Meredith, and I've always, I think that Meredith, I think it's kind of hard to be in this, position where everyone is trying to trigger you. They go after your husband. She had Jen Shah go after her son. It was like, you garbage, WHORE, you've half of New York and this and this and this. And it's like, to still be able to sit there and face everyone and be like, what else you got?
Yeah, bathtubs.
I'm like, you want to talk about the bathtub now, bitch? It's like, oh my God, not the bathtub. Okay. And then Whitney's sitting there like smiling and she's like, I'm not fucking with you.
Oh
you understand?
Oh my gosh, yes. Meredith is terrifying. Is she not one of the most stone cold ice queens we've ever seen? Because I've never been a fan because of that, but like right now I'm loving it because the topic is cotton candy, like you say, but when it's more serious, it's scary. She's terrifying.
It's so funny because I've met Meredith multiple times and it's like what I get with Lala, right? Everyone always asks me, is she like so crazy like she is on TV? Is she always so explosive? And I'm like, you wouldn't even recognize her not on TV because that's not how she is. She's very happy. She's sweet. She's a great mom. And she's just like nice to everyone. And for Meredith, she's the most fun, just happy, like she'll be nice to everybody. But on TV, it's kind of like when you put yourself in here, you're not only worried about the ensemble cast and what they're talking about when it comes to your husband, your kids, your family, your business, whatever, but then you're also worried about production A and B and what they're trying to plant inside of their heads in order to have them kind of create a storyline for you. Like Monica Garcia, we can already tell she went in when she did her interview for the show. She told what she knows or what Jen Shah told her. And she's like, you guys want me to say something? Tell me, I'll say it. You want me to start some shit? I'll start some shit. And producers were like, yes.
Full time.
Yeah. Full time. Yes. She's going to be easy. This is like Lisa Vanderpumping, like kind of puppet master. Oh, okay, Monica, you want to come in and you want to play? And Monica's like, I'm ready to play.
It's like low hanging fruit, but I am not mad at it because I've been worried about how season 4 was going to play out without Jen Shah. And I'll be honest, like, obviously Jen Shah needs to pay for her crimes. I've met Jen Shah in person and have only had positive experiences with her one-on-one. So it's like hard for me to know that she's like done these things when I've had good interactions. But I was worried about missing her because she is very entertaining.
Right.
let's not get it twisted. This woman is entertaining, regardless of her moral character, you know, and how great of a person she is. So having Monica come in, I think, is a nice way to kind of have that Jen Shaw legend kind of live on in a different way. And what I would like to see with Monica, I hope she is very aware that having her come on as a full-time housewife is kind of like low-hanging fruit with the whole Jen Shaw part of it. So what I would like to see from Monica is her to be her own person. Don't live in that stereotype of you're only here because of Jen Shaw, and
Right.
really shine and be her own housewife and her own brand.
Right. No. I'm hoping that she does that too. I'm hoping that right now this is kind of like, oh, okay, why are you here? Well, let me explain. I have this association. This is why I'm here. And then we can move on. And then we get to kind of figure out what that identity looks like of Monica. We already see that her and Lisa Barlow are not going to get along. So that's going to be weird. But also for Monica, again, I think that she's a producer's darling. But now I want to move on to Mary Cosby. Because I was also concerned what the show would look like without Jen Shaw. But when I found out that Mary Cosby would be filming again, I was like, oh, okay, we're going to have a show. I don't know if you remember, I saw it this morning, a video where she showed up to Whitney's house and she's like, yeah, it's been a day. And Whitney's like, why? What's wrong? And her two kids are right there. And she's like, well, there was a girl, a member of our church, and she was driving around the mountain and bam, she gets ejected. And 30 feet, she falls into another neighborhood. It was crazy. So moral of the story is, wear your seatbelt. But yeah, I'm doing great. How are you guys? And it was like, what?
Did she live? She's like, no.
No.
She just said it so casually and with no emotions. It was very jarring. I remember that scene very clearly. But
and then
I love Mary Cosby being back.
I mean, she really is comedic relief. Like you don't know what she's going to say. But the one thing that I saw last night that I kind of wish, I'm like, oh, this part hasn't changed. She doesn't want to do group activities like the snowball fight. Like she's not going to go play with you guys. She's like, I came here, I got to film. I'm not going out there and throwing snowballs. No, I don't do that. And it's like, I hope that works for her long enough. But then at some points, are you ever going to kind of get in there? Or are you just there for when we're lounging around, we're having a nice like cocktail and that's it? Like dinner parties, drinks, casual. But if we're actually going on like a girls thing and we're doing a bonding moment, you're like, I don't have time for you, bobblehead. It's like, is that what we're going to get? Because I'm hoping that we get some participation.
See, I was thinking about the same thing as you last night, and I'm like, oh shoot, Mary's not engaging. However, I kind of appreciate that quirkiness of her character where I was imagining myself being there, obviously watching this go down, and I'm like, you know what? If I was there, I think I would sit with Mary and just listen to her commentary because she is hilarious. But then, like if I was involved, it probably wouldn't be as funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just thinking from a viewer standpoint. I'm like, she's hilarious sitting on the sidelines, just commenting on them. And what did she say? She's like, are they having fun? Like, I just think she's so hilarious.
Do you really think I look inbred? I do. What? Like you're doubling down? But also, what's funny too is last night when she came on and she walked into Meredith's, shop and she couldn't get in the door and she's like, you got to fix this. But then she was talking about Jen. I thought it was wild because when I spoke to Jen after our interview, I was like, now let's talk about the show. And she did. She talked about the show and I said, so what do you really think about Mary Cosby? And she's like, low key, Adam, not on the show. Like, I love her. I think that she is reality TV gold. I think she's amazing. And I think that we need her. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting because this is also the same woman who said that your aunt should drink more water and she wouldn't have had her legs amputated. So what? And Jen was like, she says wild things, and I've just learned that that's kind of who she is. That's where she stands, and I get it now. I'm like, oh, okay. So we've just kind of learned to understand the quirkiness.
Yeah.
All right. And celebrate
I
it.
appreciate it now. Like I thought it was so odd in the beginning seasons, but second season it really came around for me because remember season 1 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was filmed before COVID. It was the last I think show at all on Bravo that was still filmed during COVID. So it was like the last or before COVID. So it was the last bit of pre-COVID that we ever saw on Bravo. And then the second season was after, but it was after the really tough times, I feel like. So we didn't have to endure that suffering of like watching it play out on OC. Like that season was awful.
Terrible.
That was $1 Million Listing New York. It got canceled after that season because it was just like too depressing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think we got to skip that with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and with Mary Cosby, it also did something to her because remember she said like I've been sitting in my house and I talk to my wigs now. Like we got this more like I feel like it post-COVID Mary is quirkier than ever. Like it just she couldn't hide it anymore because it was so in our face.
Yeah. And you know what's funny too is after that, I think that any freshman housewife doesn't really know how they're going to be portrayed, how this game is really going to work, because I've seen it. I've seen the producers with talent and they're just like, you're amazing. You're doing great, sweetie. And then your edit comes out and you're a psychopath. Like
Right.
you're the villain in this story. And it's like, what? And I've talked to so many different people who are on these shows and they're like, this is not fair. This is not the edit. Like Kenya Moore wasn't happy with her edit this season. You know, so many people are not happy and they're like, what are we doing here? This is not what you're telling me. And I think for Mary, she learned really quick. She's like, I don't care what you guys think of me. I don't care if you think I'm crazy. That's your problem. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe kind of like a Bethany. Maybe I do know it all. Maybe I actually know it all. And she's like embracing it fully. So, okay, like if you're willing to embrace the then I'm willing to embrace you. Like, that's great.
Yeah, I kind of almost like there's like respect for Mary for letting it just be what it is that I admire, I think. I think that's what it is.
Pam Robbins said, yeah, what was her husband doing in Vegas? I don't think she cares.
Yeah,
I think
she does not care.
She definitely just wants her husband out of her face. She's like, go to Vegas. Whatever you want to do, go do it. Goodbye.
Yeah.
She's like, I think that she's like.
Which makes me think that like she was manipulated into marrying him because she said, oh, it's because for money, and like the whole thing is just creepy.
Well, and that's what her mom and her stepdad thought. They were like, you know, like especially based off the interview, they were like, she was sort of groomed in this situation. That's what they alluded to. And it was like, even in that moment, I was like sitting there in the interview, like.
Well, I also read that her first husband was kicked out of the church by Robert Sr. before they got married. Like, hello.
That's what her parents said. They said that he was kicked out because Robert held allegedly this meeting with, let's say, the congregation, the people, the key figures of the church. And he told them that Mama told him, I need to marry Mary. And so in order to do that, this guy is toxic. Let me tell you why. And this is what Mama is telling me. So from now, like moving forward, we need to eliminate this person in order to honor Mama. And so that's exactly what they did. They removed him from the church. And then that's when it allowed for the opening. And that's how that sort of, based off of their rendition of the story, that's kind of how that happened. And it's like, this is, that's
a lot.
Yeah. Brian Scott Patterson said Mary Cosby was also at Burning Man this past weekend.
What?
I don't know if that's true, but if that is true, then I'm not surprised by anything Mary Cosby at this point. I'm just,
oh my gosh.
I'm fully
I would
here.
be very surprised if she was at Burning Man because I can't picture her dealing with any kind of inconvenience.
Yeah. How can you not do a snowball fight, but you're like, let's be out here in this hot ass desert and just fully embrace like the microdosing and the immersive experience where it's like, we're going to have an outer body, like be one with the world and life and nature. I feel like she's
strangers.
Yeah. I feel like she's a lot happier in like a Louis Vuitton, store.
Yeah.
Not like
a closet.
Or with the wigs, the closet, private jets, her home, New York City, whatever she wants to get done, like work wise, she's good there. I don't think that she likes inconveniences, like you said.
No.
Ugh. All right. So moving on. What are your first thoughts?
Monica, I don't know. I mean, like you said, we're just getting to know, like, why are you here? So that's fine. I really hope that we get to see who she really is in the next episodes and more in this season, obviously, because I don't know, like, who is she? What does she do? Like, what's her status? Angie K said something like, before Jen Shaw, I would never have been exposed to things like federal law versus state law or Monica, which made me think, like, why wouldn't you be exposed to her? Like, it almost feels like there's an underlying message there.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Why wouldn't you be exposed to her? Does she run in a different status circle or social status? I don't know. Like, it just seems, what does that mean?
Well, we know that she is a single mom. She said that she was excommunicated, right? You're right. Like, we don't know too much about her, but from what I've heard about her, they're claiming that she was kind of an assistant for Jen. I heard that Jen helped her with a car and kind of bailed her out of a situation. And then that's when she started helping out Jen to kind of pay off that debt. That's what I heard. But there's so many different sides, right? Like, how do you really know what to believe? Because I've also, in my interviews where I sit down and I talk to people, this is one of my favorite things that I get. Adam, you're so dumb. They lied to you. I'm like, that is not my job. My job is not to sit there. I am not a lie detector. My job is to sit there and ask the questions. If you lie to me, this is your time to tell your story. If you want to give a lie, it's your lie. And it will come back and bite you in the ass. That's on you.
Yeah.
So for this, I've been lied to so many times, and I don't know if in fact that is true. But I am wondering, like you said, to prove a point, Angie K, I didn't run in the same, like, I wouldn't have been exposed to her. Well, why?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Also, she said, like, the whole story that she gave about Jen approaching her and being like, do you want to be rich? This is how you get rich and do 1, 2, 3 or whatever. I thought that was, I'm like, wait a minute, back up. Why would that conversation even take place?
Right.
And thinking from like a criminal standpoint, like, I'm not a criminal, but I try to think in the minds of a criminal so I can like avoid them, And I'm just thinking from Jen Shaw's standpoint, knowing that she's like fully breaking the law and scamming people, why would she be so careless or reckless to say that to someone unless she knows them or knows something about them that she feels comfortable enough to open that door, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel like Anna Delvey goes around telling people her secrets on how to scam hotels. You know what I mean? Like, why was Jen Shaw so open to tell her this information?
Unless, and I'm not defending anyone here, but I'm trying to play devil's advocate, unless, like, Jen thought, hey, look at this woman. She needed help with her car. She has little babies. She has to pay her bills. And this could be somebody who might, it's like kind of like, what I like to watch is like Locked Up Abroad.
Okay.
And you know how like people, sometimes it's like, I was in this position where I didn't have a whole lot of money and somebody came to me and they offered me a way out and they said just one job and I would get $15,000 and I was out. And that's when I got busted. It kind of reminds me of like, were you potentially put in this situation? I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case, but I try to like weigh everything and really be sound-minded about it.
Yeah.
but I wasn't a fly on the wall in that conversation, so I really don't know. I saw Murillo's X feed last night, and he wasn't very happy with a lot of it.
I didn't
Did
check
he?
it out. I'm gonna have to go look.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go look because he was like, "What the f is this?" And I was like, "Oof, oof." Okay.
Maybe we should get his story.
I mean, I'm sure he. Listen, there's always. Oh, if anybody knows anything about what would have transpired between the two of them, besides the two of them, it would be the one of him. So I feel like I'm speaking in riddles, but you guys are picking up what I'm putting down here. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. So I also thought she was funny with the whole, sometimes I would pick up the phone and Lisa would be talking and talking, and I've never heard anybody like this. And Lisa comes in and she's like, I'm really in my maritime mode in my life. Like, I love yachting. I love big yachts. I love gourmet food on the yachts. I love when the yachts are in the water. I love when I see the waves hitting the yachts. I love being on the yacht when the wind is hitting me in the face on the maritime yacht. All about yachting. And it's like, we get it, girl.
I love it.
I love that you're a Lisa Barlow stan. And I'm not bashing Lisa Barlow, but I'm like, if you love yachts so much, why the do we live in Salt Lake City?
Because of Sundance.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, we also
By
have.
the way, I would love to go to Sundance someday just to watch Lisa Barlow work. I just want to watch her boss people around.
Do you think she is really the queen of Sundance, or do you think that that's a label that plays into the show?
I think she is. I don't have any reason to back that feeling up.
Yeah.
Other
It's
than
just
what
a
we've
feeling
seen on the show. I just truly feel like I believe it. I think she is the queen of Sundance.
Okay. No, I mean, listen, it's the same thing. I'm like, I don't have anything to back up like that she wouldn't be or she would be. Sometimes I'm like, when I see some of the Housewives or Bravo talent that comes on and I see the label that they're given, I'm like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I think that's where she does a lot of her hands-on work because it's an event.
Yeah.
And her background, I believe, is in PR. So I think that's, with her personality and what I gather from watching, she's very, professional and very on top of things. I think she would be perfect for that role of Queen of Sundance, just by delegating things and organizing things and getting people situated, because that's really what it is, right? It's coordinating logistics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What did you think about Meredith sort of kind of ending this feud with Lisa Barlow? Are you happy? Are we over this? I kind of feel like I am at this point, even though
Yes.
if they weren't on a TV show, there's no way that you're going to talk about my husband, my kids, call me a garbage, WHORE, that half of New York, that I don't have a real home, my business, there's no way after that I'm going to associate with you in any capacity. But for the Housewives, it's like if somebody gives you a contract and they're like, look at the number on the contract, then that's kind of like, you want me to play nice? I'll play nice. Okay, let's do it.
Honestly, I think it's on brand for Meredith because she is so everything is black and white with her. She's either your friend, diehard friend, or you are on her shit list. And I'm sorry for swearing, but
no, you're fine.
We saw it with Jen Shaw. She even would still kind of not sticking up for her now, but she's like, what do you want me to say about her? She's in jail. Let's move on, but there were points where she was like, I don't want Jen near me. And then there were other times where she's like, guys, you need to lay off Jen Shaw. So with her doing this with Lisa, I'm not that surprised. And that's why I think maybe why she became MVP for me, because of that as well. Because she's kind of unhinged, it's very delightful in the way that she's unhinged, being mad about the bathtub thing or whatever. And now just being oh, maybe I'll be friends with Lisa Barlow after all of that, you are not my friend. And now she's just oh, maybe we will be friends. So I'm kind of loving it.
What did you think about her entrance with Mary Cosby? And they're all like, What? And Mary's like, I'm back, bitches.
I loved it. I mean, it's how I would imagine or how I would want the return of Mary Cosby to be, just walking in and being like, "What's up, bitches? I'm here. I have no notes." It was brilliantly executed.
Oof.
In
And
my
then
opinion.
and then we get down to the ketamine use. And I was like, is this about to get really dark?
I blame all of that on Heather Gay.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, I don't think anyone cares. Like, it's kind of funny, and I know there's a taboo with some people still on Special K, but Special K is used for medicinal treatments and certain things. Like, ketamine is used. So there are medicinal benefits from it. I think they're talking about it in a recreational way, which is not like really, people don't glorify that kind of behavior. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to knock someone for having a good time here and there. Like, if they're doing it all day, every day in a recreational way, that might not be healthy. But why are we even talking about it? And I blame it on Heather Gay because she knows how to use little things like this that are like kind of gray area. Like, oh, it could be used to shame someone and guilt them. Or it could just be lighthearted if you want to talk about it in that way, which you can tell Heather does sometimes, where she's like, oh, like she jokes around about things like, oh, I'll just go sleep with this guy or whatever. And like, she'll say in a very like flippant kind of way. But then if like someone were to go and do something, I feel like she would go and use that against them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. And it also kind of feels like, it's like one of those things, like I feel like it's very Giselle Bryant to kind of plant the seed, watch it grow, have the stones thrown. But then you're like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do this. This is not me. My hands are right here. Your house is on fire. I have an alibi.
Yep. And this is so Heather Gay. Go back to season 1. Coach Shaw's birthday party. There's footage of her doing that. She like dropped a bomb with Whitney. Whitney was drunk and she was super sloppy. So she just left Whitney to fend for herself while she ran away. And then you see Jen Shaw throwing a glass in. I don't want to talk about Mary. Like, that was all because of Heather Gay.
So maybe we should keep Heather Gay around. Listen, there's some housewives that you love to watch, and then there's other housewives that you love to hate watch. And unfortunately, this is the game of reality television.
It is. It's for fun.
So with that, at the end of the day, are you excited for the new season?
Absolutely. Salt Lake City it became my favorite franchise after its first season, and it revived my love for Housewives in general overall, because I've been a day oneer. Like, I used to watch Bravo before Housewives even started, back in Queer Eye days, Kathy Griffin, My Life on the D List, Flipping Out, all that stuff. So to see the evolution of Housewives and where it's come from, where it started to where it is now, Salt Lake quickly went to my favorite, I think because of the religion aspect of it. It adds in a new layer and a different dimension to the dynamics between the cast members. And so I just find that really fascinating. However, when things got a little bit dark, I was like, I don't know. I'm like very conflicted. This used to be my favorite. And then Miami came back. So I was like, oh, maybe Miami's my favorite. So I think they're still in my top 2, Salt Lake City and Miami, and Dubai. That's one of my favorites.
I love
them.
Why?
But I think this season is going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping it doesn't get too dark or nasty, but we keep it still entertaining, and I'm excited.
I also love the fact that with the new intro, it kind of reminds me of that where did you ever watch Mob Wives?
Yes.
And
Rita,
you hear
hello.
The big bang, and you see them walk past each other with the fur coats, and they're like, bitch, I see you. And like the intro, I'm like, whoever produced this, amazing, perfect.
The music,
like
the
all
choir,
of it.
Oh my God, I get chills when I hear
Actually,
that. Oh,
I just got chills.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have chills right now just thinking.
One of my favorite things to see, I feel like I need to get another new interview soon because one of my favorite things is like putting together just the dramatic trailer just to be like fun about it. And I'm like, I love where it's like, boom, boom. And you're like,
Yes.
who's coming? Who is that? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, you don't know, but maybe you do. I don't know. But all right. So if they don't know, Jenny, will you let them know? I'm going to go ahead and bring this up right now. Guys, you have to follow Jenny at Bravo and Blaze because we reference her a lot. As you can see in the top 3 slides, she is good friends with one of our good friends over here, Ryan Bailey. Ryan, right now we are sending you all of the love. But yeah, tell everybody where they can find you and what you have going on.
I am Jenny Blaze on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe, and Bravo and Blaze on all social media. You can also go to my shop. I have a lot of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City novelty merch, which is always fun. I love a Hi Baby Gorgeous t-shirt. But I also do short videos on YouTube. I used to go live during Scandival. I'm kind of recovering from Scandival still. But yes, you can find me on all the socials.
You're
I like
very
to live
organized.
tweet as well.
You're very organized.
Thank you.
I love at the bottom, instead of buy me a coffee, buy me a joint.
I don't drink coffee, and people are like, I want to buy you a coffee or whatever. I'm like, well, you could buy me a joint then instead.
No, I mean, you totally, listen, you live up to your name as Bravo and Blaze, and I think it's absolutely incredible. By the way, again, this has been so much fun, and thank you. I told you we'd be on for like 35, 45 minutes. We hit 52 minutes, but thank you. You've been such a sport, and also you are a mom and you're busy. So anytime that you come on, I just really appreciate your time. And I'm sure everybody, I saw the live chat, everybody was so excited to have you in here. So we would love to steal you back in the future.
Always, and I would love to have you on my podcast as well once I get back started.
Yes, we have to do all of the things. And regardless, I mean, it is, guys, it is September 6th. That means less than 2 months away. We will be in Vegas for BravoCon. Oh, I'm like showing my phone. I'm like, is there anything on here that I can't be showing? We will be in Vegas for BravoCon, and when we're there, you know, there's going to be so many fun creators getting together. There's going to be so much content, so much behind the scenes, and I can't wait. It's like literally tomorrow. This year is flying by, but we're gonna do all of it, and we're gonna have the best time. And Jenny, I can't wait to see you soon.
Same, baby gorgeous. I can't wait.
All right, guys, everybody in the live chat, thank you so much. Make sure you go over, hit the follow button. It's free. And then check out Jenny on YouTube as well. We will go ahead and put the link in that in the description of this video. And we will see you later. I have videos dropping on both channels, the first and the second, for the rest of the day. And then tomorrow we will be back for our OC recap with Ricky Cornish from Out Magazine, and also an interview with Macy Bookout from Teen Mom. So we'll see you guys soon. Love you guys. Bye.